Yes, the 2026 FIFA World Cup continues, and of course, we're going to be seeing the United States of America setting up in motion after two of the co-hosts played their second round of games. We saw Canada defeating Qatar by 6 goals to nil, and of course, we remember Mexico beating South Korea by a goal to nil by becoming the first country to secure their post or their spots into the next stage of the competition, the 2026 FIFA World Cup. And Mauricio Pochettino is going to be entering into his second round of games. He did impressively in that 4-1 win against Paraguay. And of course, former Chelsea player Christian Pulisic was probably on top of his game on that day, and that was how magnificently the United States of America performed. Even though Christian Pulisic did not score, but his performance that day was quite absolutely phenomenal. And we saw Florian Balogun having a brace, Giovanni Reina an own goal, and then Paraguay had a goal. And that was how the United States of America set up their first game in the 2026 World Cup. They're going to be coming face to face with another disciplined side that won their first game, and that is Australia. Nestroy Irakunda, that boy who was born in Tanzania, who plies his trade with EFL side. I mean, Watford came up with the first goal for the Australian side, and of course, Connor Metcalf scored the second goal. Australia has been one of the phenomenal teams when it comes to consistent performance and appearing in the World Cup since Germany 2006, when they made an appearance after 1970. And then Mexico, Australia has been very consistent from Germany 2006 to 2010 in South Africa to 2014 in Brazil, 2018 Russia, 2022 in Qatar, and this time around they are there. In their first game against Turkey, they won by 2 goals to nil. Goalkeeper Patrick Beach gave a very good account of himself. The likes of Di Italiano, English staff had a top-notch performance, but today against the United States of America promised to be a different game altogether because they have to tangle with top midfielders who are performing at the highest level. I mean, Weston McKennie has been one of the guys who's been performing creditably for Juventus. He showed a wonderful display in that 4-1 win for the United States when they had that win against Paraguay. And we saw Tyler Adams also giving another boost deep in midfield alongside Malik Tillman deep in midfield. The Bayer Leverkusen midfielder was absolutely phenomenal that day. And of course, Freeman from Villarreal also had a wonderful performance. And then Anthony Robinson of Fulham also had a good day. Serginho Dest, following Balogun, came with 2 goals in that order when the United States of America defeated the Paraguayan side. And against Australia, Australia has to be a disciplined side, very disciplined side. And we saw what they did to Turkey. They made sure that their defense was very compact. They stayed deep, they plugged the spaces, prevented the Turkish team from exploiting those spaces. I mean, the likes of Yilmaz, the likes of Kenan Yildiz, Arda Gule were finding it very difficult on that occasion to make sure that they hand the Australian. And this is where the Australian will probably use this as a weapon to wound or to inflict a wound on the United States of America. But Mauricio Pochettino has done a massive job, and he's creditably doing very well in the competition. So far, the first game winning 4-0. And of course, Christian Pulisic, like I said earlier on, was on top of his game on that day. And I see United States of America in this preview having a slight advantage. Probably I might go 2-1 in favor of the United States of America when they come face to face with Australia. And another African representative will be going through into the next stage, probably with a win in the last game if they're able to secure the result. But let's talk about them, and that is the Atlas Lions of Morocco. In the last World Cup, they shocked the whole world by becoming the first African country to make it into the semi-final of the competition under coach Walid Regragui. Interestingly, some of the guys who were there during those times are not part of the squad this time around. The likes of Hakim Ziyech, Romain Saiz, the likes of Yusuf Al-Nassiri or Naif Agret, but trust the likes of Ismail Saibari, Ibrahim Diaz, of course, Captain Ashraf Hakimi, Nusair Mazraoui. At the back line, we saw a tremendous performance in that game against Brazil, and Morocco showed the reason why they are probably one of the top sides in the world currently. When they gave Brazil a tough match on that day, they were really a hard nut to crack. And Riyad Chadi and Issa Diop had a wonderful performance. That's the same thing that we expect them to go through when they play against Scotland tonight at the World Cup in 2026 when they meet another team that returns into the World Cup. And of course, these two sides have an history. And we're gonna remember in 1998 they were in the same group, and that was the last game of that group. Morocco won by 3 goals to nil. So Morocco is having a reclash against Scotland after the return of Scotland into the World Cup. Laurie Shankland was quite a pale shadow of himself in that game, in the first game against Haiti. Even though John McGinn scored that goal, Scott McTominay was quite okay on that day, gave an incredible performance. Andy Robertson, the likes of Ben Dwack, but they're going to be meeting Morocco. Morocco showed strong resilience, and Ayub Boadi did really impress in the first game against Brazil. He made sure he marshaled the midfield. He made sure he had a very good stronghold of the ball, and that makes it very difficult for the likes of Casemiro, the likes of Bruno Guimaraes to operate that day. And of course, Ashraf Hakimi had to tangle with Vinicius Junior in that day, and they went toe to toe together in that game. Nusair Mazraoui also showed a tremendous performance, and against Scotland, I think the Moroccan team have what it takes to beat Scotland. I mean, if Morocco is able to secure that win, what they just need in the last game, probably against Haiti, might be either a draw, and that will see the Moroccans through into the next stage of the competition. Carlo Ancelotti received bashing after the Moroccan game, and honestly, a lot of people talked about the fact that his tactics was not quite good on that day. And of course, he held on his own when he led the Moroccan team to dominate the midfield with the likes of Ayub Boadi. I mean, you saw the likes of Nail Ainawi giving the Brazilians a good run for their money, and Brahim Diaz was quickly a man who was very good that day. The Brazilians were finding it quite difficult to deal with him, especially in 1v1 situations. Ismail Saibari was also one of the guys who gave a very good performance that day. He even scored the first goal for Morocco before Vinicius Junior equalized. And Carlo Ancelotti received a lot of bashing with how regards to how he handled the Moroccan game. And he's gonna be entering into the second game against less fancied Haiti. I think this time around, Carlo Ancelotti should be able to account for the Haiti team. I think Brazil have been beating Haiti. I remember one of the games they won by 4 goals to nil, another one 6, and then another one by 7 goals to 1. So Haiti is not probably the team that can worry Brazil in the second game of Group C when they entered into that game. Yes, Wilson Isidore, the Sunderland striker who switched his nationality from the French team to join the Haiti team, is going to be around. The likes of Bellegarde, I mean, the Wolverhampton Wanderers midfield, the likes of Providence and Maxi Experience. So let's see how the Haiti team is going to come around. Probably, I might expect some couple of changes within the setup of how Carlo Ancelotti is going to set up his team for the second round of games. Igor Thiago was not quite good on that day in the first game against Morocco. Someone might talk about the fact that he wasn't receiving the balls because they couldn't feed him deep in midfield. The likes of Lucas Paqueta were quite a pale shadow, was also another pale shadow of himself on that day. And that was the reason why the Brazilians struggled on that day to create chances. But with regards to how he used Roger Ibanez, I'm talking about Carlo Ancelotti at the right back, that one was also not a good decision on that day. And that quite really affected the Brazilians. And the Moroccans were using that space very, very well. I mean, Gabriel Megalish and, of course, Captain Marquinhos were quite okay. But I think they needed to to improve their performance in that game against Morocco. And that was what happened. But they couldn't get through. And then they drew that game by a 1-1 after coming from a goal down. But in that game against Haiti, I think Brazil should be able to account for Haiti in the second group game of Group C. So what it means is I see United States of America winning against Australia. I fancy Morocco to beat Scotland. And of course, I see Brazil beating Haiti in Group C. And that is where the rest of the second round of group games also continue till when we enter into the third round of games for us to see the last games. So of course, expect a lot of big games coming in the second round of games. And then Morocco, Scotland is a big one. I mean, you're going to be talking about the Black Stars of Ghana coming face to face with England. So we expect a lot of big games in the second round of games in the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Not forgetting even Norway Senegal is also another big game to watch. This has been the podcast channel with our. Thank you.